After this, Lucille will never be the same again. Hey guys, and this is going to be my video for Walking Dead Episode 7 and Episode 8 of Season 7. So, the two episodes that we're talking about today are Sing Me a Song and Heart Still Beatin'. So, with these two episodes, a lot of stuff is happening, a lot of stuff from the comics. So, without further ado, let's break it down. So, episode 7 is all about Carl's attempt on Negan's life and how he goes into the sanctuary guns blazing, and Negan basically gives him a little tour around the sanctuary, sort of kind of bonds with him. Meanwhile, you got Rick and Aaron trying to scavenge for supplies, and then you've got Michonne on her own little journey, and a lot of things really take a interesting turn when we see Negan giving his whole spiel about, oh, we are the saviors, and how no one is above the rules and everything, and how everyone works for points. And Carl kind of takes this whole thing to heart, trying to understand how Negan does things and how killing him didn't really go as well. And this sort of carries on to the next episode with Rosita. Another thing that also happens in episode 7 and episode 8 is Rosita is fixated on trying to avenge Abraham by building a bullet. Now, this doesn't go so well for her in episode 8 because Negan comes at her after she is the one that shoots Lucille instead of Carl, who shot Lucille in the comics. And these two episodes cover volume, I believe it is volume 18 and volume 19, which is what comes after and March to War. And in episode 8, Negan is the one that fulfills his own comic book destiny and ends up killing Spencer by gutting him across the stomach, along with Rosita, who he attempts to torture, and this whole big conflict ensues there in Alexandria, but not as big of a conflict as you would expect that happened at the end of March to War, because this whole thing happens towards the end of the comic of March to War, but it seems like the whole later half of the season is going to be, building that up to all-out war. But really, both episodes I thought were great. Episode 7 definitely had a lot of great comic book moments, as did episode 8. And definitely looking forward to where it goes into next half of the season. It's likely that they're going to be pushing towards all-out war, like I said before, and then moving from all-out war into that larger conflict with Negan, because now Rick has come to this realization that Negan needs to be stopped, and other people, other groups know this as well, and Rick isn't the only one that's come to this realization. I mean, Richard in episode 8 comes to this idea. Rosita has been struggling with this in both episodes 7 and 8, and even Eugene, now being under kidnap of Negan, has to be the one to manufacture bullets for him, another person that Rick has lost. But even though Rick has lost a person, he has gained a person, with Daryl escaping with the help of Jesus. So all of them will be able to form some sort of alliance with the Hilltop in an attempt to stop Negan. We also know that they're going to eventually meet the Kingdom eventually and come into contact with Ezekiel. Will they meet up with Morgan and Carol? It doesn't seem like it at this point, but they're likely going to be part of the all-out war conflict. As for going forward, with that interesting scene with the guy with the boot, it's unsure who he is, or she, at this point. A lot of speculation. Could be a Whisperer, could be a character that we haven't seen before, also could be Dwight. It's likely, I'm not sure who it is right now, but if it is a Whisperer, it just seems a little too soon to introduce them now. Likely it's probably Dwight, or a character that we haven't seen before, but if it was Dwight, you would believe that he would be at the sanctuary But whether or not he let Daryl out of his cell is a whole nother question entirely. Another question that I want answered when we come back from break and into the second half of season 7. But Negan definitely is sort of resembling a lot more of his comic book qualities, especially in episode 8, when he finally shaves his beard and ends up representing a lot of what he stands for in the comics. But everything about episode 7 and episode 8 are definitely going to set the tone going forward into season 7, the second half, and definitely going to start to move with that all-out war conflict. But I definitely gave episode 7 and episode 8 a solid 9.5 out of 10. They did great, and I loved every minute watching them. Definitely the low parts were probably the Rosita scenes, except for episode 8, where it escalated really, really out of hand, and Negan was supremely pissed off, but it was a very good episode to watch and very interesting. So let me know what you guys thought about episode 7 and episode 8 of The Walking Dead, the mid-season finale, what you're looking forward to coming forward into the later half of season 7, and what your predictions are. Do you think they're going to go straight into all-out war coming back, or do you think we're going to drag this out a little bit more and go to March to War? Personally, I think it's probably going to be March to War, because they can't get to all-out war probably until next season, and then from then on start to develop the story that is eventually going to be the Whispers, because they can't immediately catch up to where the comics are, because then they would run out of source material. So it's likely this whole other half of the season will be a lot of recruiting, and then that will lead to all-out war going into season 8. But we'll see what happens. So let me know what you guys thought. Hit that like button. Sorry for the lateness for The Walking Dead, and I know this episode had to be a little bit of condensed a little bit, but I had to get it out to you guys so I could at least get a review or reaction from you. So let me know what you guys thought about it. Like I said in my previous video, I'm going to be doing a lot of other Star Wars centered videos this week for Rogue One. But besides that, looks like it's going to be a very interesting week. And I will see you guys in the next video. And Lucille just might see you too. Alright. See you guys. Adios.